With 0.00001% of registered voters reporting, I'm officially calling this race for Donald Trump. Congratulations, everybody. It was well fought. Joe Biden, you ran a great campaign. Not really. And it's all over, thanks in part to two small New Hampshire villages. I'm kidding, by the way. Cue moment when YouTube bans my channel now for calling the race early. I wasn't really calling the race, please. Are jokes allowed on the internet anymore? Anyway, we do got some morning news that I think is going to be very important for all of you as we go into today's election day. No one has any idea what's going to happen, but if you trust the polls, Donald Trump is going to get crushed. However, there are there's a first in the nation polling. It happens at like midnight. And then there's another poll, another vote that happens shortly after. Trump won. Trump lost one of these districts. He lost the first in vote, but they voted for Clinton last time. They voted resoundingly for Biden this time. But in Millsfield, Trump took it. I believe it was 16-5 in favor of Trump. I'm not sure if this matters all that much. Sure. Thought it was interesting. But the bigger issue is that Donald Trump is expected to win tonight in what's called a Red Mirage. Yes, because he's actually going to win. And they're going to say, but wait, there's going to be way more mail-in ballots. And therein lies the big problem for all of us. We don't know how many total ballots will likely be coming in. But we do know the amount of requested absentee ballots and sent mail ballots. So in order for Donald Trump to win, tonight, he needs to beat Joe Biden by a larger margin than remains known or possible votes, which is going to make it relatively unlikely, I suppose, that we get a declared victory tonight. What's really, I guess, irksome to me, and I got to be very careful about the words I use today because YouTube will ban me in 2 seconds, but I'd like to show you something. And then we'll read the story about these villages, see what's going on with Trump. Sarah Fisher says, if news organizations declare Joe Biden the mathematical president-elect, he plans to address the nation as its new leader, even if President Trump continues to fight in court. Interesting. They said that Donald Trump, under Biden's people, under no circumstances will Trump be declared the winner. But if the media declares Biden the winner, then he's going to address the nation as president-elect. I find that creepy. They've repeatedly said Donald Trump is not allowed to declare victory, even if it looks like he won, because we must wait for mail-in ballots. Why? That's weird. If the margins are in Trump's favor, then he should be able to declare victory and address the nation. I can't remember. I saw this tweet. They're saying that the MSNBC, I guess, would cut away. They would not allow if Trump tries to say anything about declaring victory. These people are so Trump derangement syndrome, terminal, that they'll plug their ears and turn off their TVs if it turns out Donald Trump actually won. I've got some stuff to show you, but we're going to start with what's going on because this matters, in my opinion. These two villages, what's going on? President Trump has a total lead of 6 votes over Democratic nominee Joe Biden after the first votes of 2020 election were reported in 2 small New Hampshire villages. Trump won a midnight vote in the village of Millsfield by a 16-5 margin, while Biden had a 5-0 victory in nearby Dixville Notch. Doesn't that mean Trump has a 6-vote lead? Oh, that's what they said, right. Trump's Millsfield win echoed the 16 votes he received in the village in 2016, with former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton receiving 4 votes and Bernie Sanders getting a single vote. So the margins are the same. Clinton won Dixville Notch, getting 4 votes to Trump's 2. Now, I don't know if this means anything, but Trump is down 2 votes from last year in these 2 places. While most experts believe overall voter turnout in the current election will be high, the final votes cast in Dixville Notch represent the lowest turnout ever reported. The last candidate to win in all the votes cast in the village was former President Nixon, who went on to narrowly lose to former President John F. Kennedy in the election of 1960. But to be fair, Nixon's 1972 re-election was 49-state landslide. The Dixville Notch vote has a mixed record at best of predicting the ultimate winner of the presidency. In addition to missing Trump's 2016 win, results did not match former President Jimmy Carter's win, Nixon's 1968 win, and Bill Clinton's victories. However, the village did accurately predict both George W. Bush as well as President Barack Obama. It doesn't matter, though, because they didn't predict Trump. Trump also received 16 votes in Millsfield, but neither Trump nor Biden received a single vote during 2020 primary voting in Dixville Notch, where former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg won both the Democratic and Republican primaries by a write-in vote. Now, about that there Red Mirage, they're saying that Trump is going to win tonight, right? Okay. We've already got, I'm going to get in trouble on YouTube. I swear I'm going to get banned. So I have to be very careful. We already have electioneering at polling locations that is not allowed. We also have already videos emerging of a poll watcher being denied entry in Philadelphia. All of this stuff is happening in one of the most important states for Donald Trump to win. One of the states where the attorney general already said, when all votes are cast, Donald Trump will lose. So I want to read you a statement from the Trump campaign. But first, from Will Chamberlain, here's a video. A poll watcher in Philly was just wrongfully prevented from entering the polling place. Hashtag stop the steal. We also have this from A. Benjamin Mans. This is a Newsmax public safety columnist. He says, this is our polling place in Northeast Philadelphia. Already a violation in sight. On the door of the voting location is a big sign that says vote Philly first. This is electioneering. It is overt. It is obvious. And I'm going to say it and they're going to ban me, but I'm not playing games, YouTube. This is illegal. I'm not exaggerating. I'm making it up. It is plain as day illegal. You cannot put up a big sign telling everyone who to vote for. You can't. And they've been doing it with these signs all over Philly. He says, as we were leaving, they removed this one. But just in case people thought this was an isolated incident, I went by other polling places in the same ward. And as you can see in all of these photos, they have these big signs saying who to vote for. You are not allowed to do this. Will I get banned? Maybe. YouTube told me that I'm not allowed to say anything that could make people not want to vote or something. Well, you definitely should go vote. Please go vote. I don't care who you vote for. Just go vote. Do what you got to do. Maybe you like Biden. Maybe you like Trump. Maybe you like Jorgensen. Maybe you just want to vote for, I don't know, Mickey Mouse. You don't care. You can write in whoever you want. I think you can write in whoever you want. Anyway, just go vote. This shouldn't freak you out, but we need to know about it. We need to know these things are happening because I tell you this, if that was a pro-Trump sign, you better believe they'd be screaming at the top of their lungs. Well, Tim Murtaugh made an extremely important statement, and I agree. You see, the framing of everything in the media is that Trump is cheating, Trump is going to lose. But what they haven't done, what we haven't seen is look, I'll put it this way. Think about what it is they're doing when they say all of these things. The Democrats and the media are doing everything in their power to delegitimize this election. I mean, the fact that there's a Red Mirage scenario in the first place is insane and unprecedented. They're basically saying, no matter what happens, Trump can't win, period. Why is that allowed, YouTube? Come on. I got to walk on eggshells, but they're allowed to straight up say Trump can't win. Are you nuts? Don't you want people to go and vote? Yes. Well, this is allowed, apparently. Tim Murtaugh says, Biden's early vote lead is not enough, and they know it. Democrats plan to call Donald Trump's Election Day surge a Red Mirage to delegitimize his wave of support. They'll try to create a smokescreen post-Election Day, even running TV ads to cast doubt on November 3rd. On November 3rd vote, be ready. Here's the full statement. He says, Democrats are panicking because Joe Biden has not run up a large enough lead in early votes in battleground states, and they know that President Trump's in-person votes on Election Day will make up the difference and propel him to victory. Biden's political operatives have already been distributing talking points and research to delegitimize Election Day results by coaching surrogates to refer to President's Election Day success as a Red Mirage. The operatives are advising surrogates and media to create a smokescreen by casting blame all around, imagining postal delays or falsely claiming that mail-in ballots that have simply not been returned should be considered legitimate votes that need to be counted. None of this will be true, but it will be held up as proof that President Trump's victory is a so-called Red Mirage. No one should fall for it. We are aware that Democrats have already cut television ads that they are prepared to deploy to further cement the Red Mirage misinformation, seeking to convince people that all Joe Biden would need for victory is more time, extending well beyond Election Day. At the same time, we fully anticipate that Democrats will be in court arguing to extend deadlines for accepting and counting votes mailed and received well past deadlines enacted by individual state laws. Americans should remember that Biden has assembled a massive team of lawyers who will try to loosen election integrity so they can steal the election, and also recall that Hillary Clinton advised Biden not to concede defeat under any circumstances. The last gasp of the Biden campaign will be ugly, and it will be ruthless. What actually has happened is that Democrats fielded a candidate in Joe Biden who excites virtually no one, and his potential voters are not motivated to go to the polls in person. Democrats also made the mistake of spending months frightening their supporters away from voting in person because of the coronavirus. And now they realized that their early vote lead will not be enough. Biden's campaign also committed to the political sin of failing to build a ground game or field operation. And now they are paying the price with their inability to turn out supporters. Biden knows that the votes he already has in the bank through early voting and from supporters they already had. So he has cannibalized his own election day turnout because of this. Because of this Biden predicament, we are on guard for Democrats to attempt to subvert state deadlines for receiving and counting ballots, and we will fight to make sure they adhere to the law. President Trump wants every eligible voter to be able to vote once, and have it counted. Here's what needs to be said. They keep saying all the votes must be counted, all of them. That's what the AG of Pennsylvania said. Once all the votes are counted, Trump will have lost. All the votes. We were talking about this with Jack Posobiec the other night on the IRL podcast. What does that mean, all the votes? Some of the votes that aren't returned? Some of the votes that people had no intention on returning? And votes that are arrived past their deadline? Votes that have mismatched signatures? Votes that have no signature? You see the problem here. There are basic rules. The left right now is arguing that Republicans are trying to disenfranchise people by saying sometimes votes don't count or are rejected or disqualified. That's called election security and integrity. I do not want to see people disenfranchised. However, it is important to note there are deadlines for a reason. There is security protocols for a reason. That's it. If your vote is not counted, it's not because, sometimes it could be some dirty political gain. It could be just because if we just said we're going to count every vote and we're going to extend into December to just keep counting because Biden just needs all the time in the world to win, that's not how elections are run. Think about it. They could realize they've lost and then rush out and try and ballot harvest or something. Start collecting ballots, telling people, if you have a ballot, go return it now. No, that's not how we do things. That is basically, I mean, look, I'm going to say it. Changing the rules to benefit one party. I'm not okay with that. They have been changing the rules to benefit the Democrats from mail-in voting to extended deadlines. And now they're saying that Joe Biden will be allowed to declare victory. Are you kidding me? This is, I think this is because they know Republicans will never do anything. That's true. You could throw a pie in the face of a conservative, figuratively, and they'll just be like, oh, well, I'm going to vote. Good, you should. But the left is crazy. I mean, people are boarding up their businesses across the country right now in fear of what's going to happen regardless of who wins. I find the idea funny that they're saying Joe Biden is going to win, yet every business is boarding up. So these people are like, better board up from the extremist leftists who are coming and then go vote for the guy who bailed them out. Okay, it was his campaign, not him personally, but Kamala Harris did. So vote for the campaign who bailed them out. Sure. They bailed out the rioters. And I'm supposed to assume people are going to go vote for that? Well, we do have some new information on this Red Mirage idea. Red Mirage Redux. In fact, it looks like they're saying it's not going to be as profound as they thought. And 538 has projected that late arriving ballots might actually favor the Republicans. Axios reports. The Democratic firm that predicted on an election night Red Mirage for Trump, an early lead, it says that Joe Biden will overtake when mail-in ballots are counted, is standing by its prediction, but with a smaller Mirage than expected. Driving the news. Updated modeling from analytics firm Hawkfish, reviewed by Axios, says Trump may look as if he's on track to cross 270 electoral votes and approach 286 to 252. But in the end, Biden could win by as much as 334 to 204, or a more modest 279 to 259, once all mail-in ballots are counted. There it is again. All mail-in ballots are counted. You see the game they're playing? Not all mail-in ballots should be counted. I know I can already hear the left saying, aha, clip him out of context and claim he's saying disenfranchise people. If a mail-in ballot has no postmark, if it has no signature, if it arrived late, then it shouldn't be counted. That's called election security. Do we just assume, well, the Democrats have said there's no such thing as voter fraud, so we just have to trust all the ballots are good. There was voter fraud in Paterson, New Jersey. Not that I think it's predominantly, widespread or anything like that. No, I just think that we have rules for a reason. And it reminds me of, Hillary Clinton losing, but she won the popular vote. The other day we were talking and I think it was Lauren Chen who said, doesn't she have advisors? Or, oh, no. Somebody was telling a story about like someone's friend. Didn't Clinton have advisors telling her she needed to win the Electoral College, not the popular vote? Yeah, well, she didn't realize that. So what? The Democrats now have been telling everybody to vote by mail, and now they're freaking out about it. Mind you, Hawkfish is funded, my understanding, by Michael Bloomberg, who is dumping tons of money into the race to defeat Trump. They have created a narrative that no matter what happens, Trump will lose. They have said Trump cannot win on election night. Joe Biden's campaign has said under no circumstances will the media declare him the victor. And then their political groups have said it'll be a mirage. Trump can't win. This is nuts. I don't know if they actually have the power to do what they claim they're doing, but would a media outlet honestly report that Trump won if Trump won? Think about it this way. If there are 400,000 outstanding ballots in Pennsylvania and Trump beats Joe Biden by a margin of 400,001, then no amount of mail-in ballots will get Donald Trump, will get Joe Biden the victory. That's what needs to happen. But and not only that, I mean, of the 400,000 outstanding ballots, I mean, some of them are going to be for Trump, right? I don't know why they think that late arriving ballots are going to be all for Joe Biden, especially based on what Nate Silver has already said. I'll tell you what I think. I think the media is full of it. I think the media is just trying to freak people out, trying to justify why they're going to win. And I'll tell you, I have made several videos where I was talking about how Trump could win, why Trump is going to win, while recognizing the odds are against him in every facet. 538 says 9 to 1. And Predict It says, Joe Biden 61 cents to win and Trump 40 cents to win. The odds are against Trump, but there are reasons to believe he does have a path to victory. Even Nate Silver has said so. I think the media is desperately trying to tell people, don't worry, Joe Biden's going to win. No, he's going to win. Here's a reason for it. And they're creating this paranoid reality about how Trump might actually win, but then Joe Biden wins. If Donald Trump wins on election night, and he has the lead in all of these states, and no media outlet calls it for him, and then we wait weeks, this is the most dangerous and psychotic thing we as a nation and these media companies could ever do. We need clear results. We need people to know, here's how the system works, here's what happened. But if we get to the point where Joe Biden and Trump are just dangling and they're like, well, technically Trump won, but we're not going to say he did. We're going to wait until all the lawsuits are over. Then what happens is Trump wins in the courts and they say Trump didn't really win. He won in the courts, even if Trump was literally going to win. Here's what I think. I think there's a possibility. There's no Red Mirage. Trump is going to win tonight. He's going to win. And all the pollsters are going to, all the media pundits are going to say the polls are not wrong. The mail-in ballots just have not come in. And therefore, we need to wait because people are going to be disenfranchised, knowing full well that Trump did win, but they need to delegitimize the election. That's what they are doing. I believe it. They are delegitimizing the election with everything they're doing. The election is supposed to be on election day. You go in, you cast your vote. I believe the Constitution gave us election day. And now they keep changing all of the rules so that they have a better chance of winning, I suppose. Look, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not a psychic. We're going to have a big party. We're going to do a live stream. We're going to be tracking the results. But we're already seeing impropriety in Philadelphia, and that is alarming. Alarming because my videos, my tweets might get taken down. I might get banned simply for pointing these things out. As I mentioned the other day, YouTube told me I can't say anything that could possibly get someone not to vote. Well, let me stress for the 50 billionth time, you need to go vote. Dare I say you must. It is not enough to want to vote. You must be actively pro-vote. Go vote. Don't let anything stand in your way. Everyone, I don't care if it's for Biden, for Trump, or otherwise, go and vote. But throughout the day, I'm going to be talking about what's going on. And I'm concerned that stories like this, if they favor the left, will be allowed. And stories that I talk about that favor the right will be banned. And therein lies the very, very serious problem that we face with today's election day. I don't know what the results are going to be. I don't know who's going to win. But I will say I'm worried about what happens tonight with cities across the country being boarded up and what happens tomorrow. This is why I am saying we need a clear victor tonight. We do. I don't care who it is. I voted for Trump, but if Biden wins, so be it. We need those results called. The media, the establishment is against Trump, and they will never accept a Trump victory. They didn't in 2016. They won't now. How did it get to the point where they were projecting all of these races for Trump? Shouldn't they have just had extreme Trump derangement syndrome? I don't know, but I'll tell you this. The conditions that made Donald Trump's victory have only gotten worse. Now, that's arguably a net negative for Trump because Trump should be the one solving these problems. But perhaps it's out of Trump's hands. The conditions that have made Trump have only gotten worse. Cancel culture is worse. Fear of our safety. Look, in 2016, were you scared someone was going to show up to your house? Now they're going to people's houses. Now they're marching through residential neighborhoods. I think the media this time around, last time they were like, well, we don't like Trump, but I guess he won. Now they've gone nuts. They'll never call it for Trump. Trump could win legitimately, and they will not say it. It has been 4 years since I leaned back in a chair and laughed as Donald Trump took victory. And I'll tell you this tonight, no matter who wins, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, I'm going to be laughing. I'm going to crack a beer. I rarely, if ever, drink, almost never. But I will crack that beer open. I will sit back, and we're going to be on the stream, and it is going to be hilarious no matter what happens. Could you imagine the presidency of Trunanana Shabbat Pressure and Betakath Care? Those are real things that Joe Biden actually said. And if people vote for that guy because they hate Trump, then we just live in a cartoon clown world, I guess. Let me tell you. People like to talk about being in clown world, right? What is the most clownish thing that could possibly happen tonight? A Joe Biden victory. It would be. Because Joe Biden is not a viable candidate. They hate Trump so much, they fielded an awful candidate. And if he wins, it'll be hilarious. Imagine the Democrats trying to negotiate in the Senate, and Biden's like, Shabbat pressure. What? It'll be funny. You know what, man? They say empires usually last around 200 years. Maybe we're on the backswing, huh? I don't know. Whatever, man. I hope you all go out and vote. I hope many of you have already voted, but please go vote. It is your civic duty. And vote for whoever you think. Don't let anyone shame you. If you want to go vote for Joe Biden or Joe Jorgensen, please vote your conscience. If you want to vote for Trump, well, there you go. I think Trump is the right answer. But if you want to vote any other party, don't let anyone tell you who you should or shouldn't vote for, even if it is Joe Biden. I can sit here all day and night. For all the things I've said, I want you to vote for what you think is right. I want you to vote. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. We'll see how the day progresses. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you all then.